Kyle Busch, going into Texas Motor Speedway on May 3, 2026, was a man with something to prove. The season had not gone the way Richard Childress Racing wanted. Results were falling short. Morale was low. And just days before the race, RCR announced a crew chief swap on the number 8 car. Jim Pullman was moved out. Andy Street was moved in. That kind of mid-season change does not happen unless the team is running out of patience. Busch knew the pressure he was under. He had said it himself before Texas. He needed to put the train back on the tracks. And for 265 laps, it looked like he was doing exactly that. He qualified 6th. He ran in the top 10 for the majority of the Wurth 400. His new crew chief, Andy Street, had the car dialed in. This was the run Busch and RCR needed to stop the bleeding. A strong finish here would have meant something. Then lap 266 happened. There were 2 laps left in the Wurth 400 at Texas Motor Speedway. Chase Elliott was already well ahead up front, on his way to his second win of 2026. The battle Busch was in had nothing to do with the win. He and John Hunter Nemechek were fighting for 12th place. Not glamorous, but still meaningful in terms of points. Both drivers were having solid days. Neither one needed to go home with damage. Coming off turn 2 and onto the backstretch on lap 266, Busch tried to clear Nemechek. He did not have the gap he needed. The 2 cars came together, both touched the backstretch wall. Busch's car took a shot to the right front. The contact was hard enough that his spotter, Derek Nealand, immediately got on the radio and said the right front was bent in all the way on the bottom. That is where it could have ended. 2 cars bumping at a 1.5-mile track. Racing incident. Move on. But they did not move on. Coming into turn 3, Busch came up the track hard into Nemechek. The 8 car drove directly into the 42. Nemechek's Legacy Motor Club Toyota took a heavy hit into the outside wall. Significant right side damage. He gingerly drove to pit road. The race was on lap 267 by this point. NASCAR did not throw the caution flag. The race finished green. Chase Elliott won. Busch finished 20th. He had been running as high as 11th on the restart with 9 laps to go. He lost 7 positions in the final 2 laps. Nemechek finished 21st. He was the first car 1 lap down. Over the number 42 radio, Nemechek's first words said everything. Why did he do that? Before the cars were even cool, both drivers had their phones out. Nemechek went straight to X and did not hold back. He wrote, "Not freaking clear, great day going, and just got wrecked." Then he added 2 more words. "What an ass." That phrase traveled fast. Fans screenshot it, clipped it, and shared it across every NASCAR platform within minutes. Busch did not stay quiet either. He fired back with his own post, and he did something most drivers do not bother doing. He included SMT data from the incident. Screenshots, clips. He was building a case. "I did not start this," Busch wrote. The 42 apparently doesn't know where the RS of his car is and where he is in relation to the outside wall. There was 2 feet outside him, and I was judging my left side tires to the hash marks. Always know who you're racing beside. He was saying Nemechek left him no room. He was saying the first hit was on Nemechek. He was saying he held his line. The problem is that Fox NASCAR had already posted the turn 3 moment, and what that clip showed looked like more than holding a line. Fox Sports insider Bob Pockras broke down the sequence after the race and was direct about what happened. His words, "Kyle Busch tries to cut in front of John Hunter Nemechek. They have contact, and then in turn 3, it appears that Kyle Busch gives John Hunter a hip check into the wall. A hard hit for John Hunter. That second hit is the one NASCAR cares about. The backstretch contact was messy. Racing incidents happen. But driving up into someone in the corner, causing a hard impact into the outside wall on the final lap of a green flag finish is a different conversation entirely." Pockras said it plainly. This is a contact sport, and NASCAR does allow retaliation, but there is a line between racing back and wrecking someone. The question NASCAR had to answer was which side of that line Busch landed on. Busch's defense? His spotter reported the right front was bent in all the way on the bottom after the backstretch hit. He may argue the car simply could not hold a straight line into turn 3. That argument is available to him, but it is going to be a hard sell when the tape shows a hard turn to the right directly into Nemechek. Here is something that makes the whole situation more complicated. John Hunter Nemechek drove for Kyle Busch Motorsports in the Craftsman Truck Series for 2 full seasons, 2021 and 2022. In that time, Nemechek won 7 races for Busch's team. Busch was his boss. They had a working relationship and presumably a respectful one. Now they race against each other in the Cup Series, and Nemechek is calling Busch an ass on social media the second the checkered flag drops. This is not just a racing incident between two strangers. There is a history there, and that history makes Nemechek's frustration hit harder. He did not get wrecked by someone he barely knows. He got wrecked by the man who used to employ him. Denny Hamlin addressed the incident on his podcast, Actions Detrimental, the Monday after the race. He is not someone who minces words, and he did not hear either. As far as the incident, I didn't see anything, no matter who's at fault for what on the backstretch, Hamlin said. What happened in Turn 3 was certainly unacceptable. That matters. Hamlin is not a casual fan. He is a 50-plus race winner and one of the most respected voices in the garage. When he separates the two incidents and calls Turn 3 unacceptable, he is drawing a clear line. He is saying the first hit is debatable, the second one is not. The fans calling for a suspension are not making things up. NASCAR has handed them out for exactly this kind of behavior, and recently, Bubba Wallace was suspended in 2022. Chase Elliott was suspended in 2023 after he wrecked Denny Hamlin during the Coca-Cola 600. In 2025, Austin Cindric was fined $50,000 and docked 50 points for hooking Ty Dillon at COTA. All of those happened at similar tracks. All of them involved intentional-looking contact in the final stages of a race. This was not Busch's first Texas-sized warning this season either. On April 12th at Bristol, there was contact between Busch and Riley Herbst. That involved what looked like a hook to Herbst's left rear. NASCAR did not act on it. The question now is whether NASCAR views two incidents in quick succession differently than one in isolation. Prior to Texas, one incident might get a pass. After Texas, the pattern looks harder to ignore. Not everyone is screaming for a suspension. Jeff Gluck of The Athletic said on the post-Texas episode of the Teardown podcast that a penalty would be a step in the wrong direction. His argument is that this is the kind of racing that the sport has always allowed and that punishing it sends the wrong message about what NASCAR is. Several analysts agree with Gluck. If a penalty does come, most expect it to be a fine and a points deduction rather than a race suspension. The distinction matters. A suspension would keep Busch out of Watkins Glen. A fine and point hit would sting his already difficult playoff picture without removing him from competition. NASCAR confirmed they would review the wreck in its entirety. That review takes into account both contacts, the data, the tape, and the statements from both sides. By Sunday night, the clip Fox NASCAR posted of the Turn 3 moment had been seen by hundreds of thousands of people. The comment sections were not balanced. Fan reaction leaned heavily in one direction. Most were not calling for a racing incident ruling. Most were calling it intentional. The phrase suspension was all over NASCAR's social feeds. Some fans pushed back and sided with Busch. They pointed to the SMT data he posted and argued that Nemechek's positioning on the backstretch forced the first contact. They believed the damaged right front explained the Turn 3 hit, but the majority were not buying that explanation. And that matters in 2026,